there is a big offering of good gelato in Melbourne, but at the time there really wasn't much around. So I think we were the first in what we did, and I think people now have a bit of an understanding on what good gelato is.
This is The Producers. I'm Dani Valent. Is there anything better than gelato? Lisa Valmormida and her brother Jamie come from an entrepreneurial, food-loving Italian family. So when Lisa identified a gap in the Australian market for high-quality gelato, it set them on the pathway to Pidapipo. 10 years later, there are 3 popular Melbourne stores and a new Laboratorio making small batch and bespoke flavours. Pidapipo is one of the city's leading artisanal gelato businesses, scooping smiles day after day.
I'm Lisa Valmormida. I'm the co-founder of Pidapipo, and we're a gelateria in Melbourne. We got started it's 9 years ago now. It's coming up to 10 years next year. So I started off working as a chef and studied to be a chef. And when I was working in kitchens, I just always knew I wanted to do something for myself. And having an Italian background, I knew that being, traveling to Italy, the offering in Melbourne didn't compare. And I knew that there was something I was interested in, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to go over to Italy and learn how to do it. And when I got there, I knew that was exactly what I was meant to be doing, and absolutely loved it. And so I studied at a gelato university and worked in a gelateria in Italy, and then came back and got all the machinery and started all my recipes. And we opened almost 10 years ago the test lab, and now we've got 3 stores, and we've just opened Pidapipo Laboratorio.
Lisa saw a marked contrast between the fresh, fruit-focused gelato she enjoyed in Italy and the more commercial, industrial gelato scooped in Australia. She made it her mission to bring a more Italian approach to the frozen confections on offer back home.
Yeah, so I guess in Italy, the everything is sort of made from scratch, and they use all fresh seasonal fruits. And in Australia, it was, I think everyone knew gelato was like with all the food colorings and the flavorings and all the pastes, and maybe it's, fruit purees rather than real fruit. So when you go to Italy, like everything just tastes so much better and like the real thing. I think that it was sort of educating the market at the time on what that was. And, when people were eating our fruit gelatos, they would say, oh my God, this tastes exactly like a mango. And that's because it is a mango. But people weren't used to that at the time, which is really quite weird. And, like a banana was white and people maybe used to saying yellow, and it sounds weird now because I think everyone understands and has, there's a bit more on the market now. So people know what to look for. And I think, it's just making everything from scratch and making it fresh, churning it fresh on site makes such a big difference. And storing it in the pozzetti, so you're preserving all the temperature and the humidity levels, and it just makes such a big difference to the product. It's more complicated than it seems making the recipes. It's like you can't just throw in sugar and milk and cream and sort of hope for the best. Like everything has to be calibrated and like calculated in a formula. So each flavour has the same fat content and sugar contents, and when you're working with different ingredients, you're sort of balancing everything out. So it was about learning how to do that, and it went for a month long. So there's all different levels of it, and I sort of did the whole thing, and then working in the gelateria after was also really good because I learned about all the ingredients, and there's so many rules in Italy with like what you would consider a good gelateria and what's a bad gelateria. So I guess I got that insider knowledge with all of that part as well.
Lisa spent a lot of time in Italy learning how to identify a great gelato shop from an also-ran. From the Pozzetti lidded serving counters to the number of flavours on sale, there are subtle signals of quality.
The Pozzetti, that's the serving counter where it's with the lids. Everything's covered and preserved instead of having the big mounds on display. So you look for that because it means that the quality of the product's the number one priority. And it's not exposed to the air and the humidity levels and the circulation of the temperature is really maintained properly. Then 20 flavours is the maximum amount that you would sell, because if you have any more, it means that you're unable to ensure that it's fresh every day. And then, seeing sort of fresh fruit and seeing the production and knowing that they're sort of making it there on site is really important, because you want to be churning all throughout the day. Like if customers would come in when I was in Italy and they'd ask what the freshest flavour was, that it wouldn't be what their favourite flavour was. It was they would always go for the freshest one that was just made. So just, and about all the nuts and the types of chocolate and all of those kind of things I learned a lot about as well.
Ice cream wasn't the first career path for Lisa Valmormida, but a love of cooking and a family background in food reeled her in.
When I finished school, I started an interior design course, and then I was spending all my time watching cooking shows and cooking, and realised that I just needed to stop doing interior design and then follow my passion, which was cooking, and enrolled in cooking school. I worked at Donovan's in St Kilda, and then for like 3 years, and then that was when I went to Italy after that and started that journey. So but my family have a background. So my nonno, when he first came out to Australia, his career was all in food, bringing Italian food products to Australia, and olive oil and parmesan and canned tomatoes and tuna. So it's sort of like, our family sort of is, food's very important to us. So I guess I've sort of grown up in a very foodie family. Everyone is very passionate and has lots of ideas. So we're all, I work with my brother. Jamie and I started Pidapipo almost 10 years ago as a test lab on Faraday Street, which is where we sort of experimented and got an idea about how we wanted to do the permanent store. And, and then I guess the Laboratorio is the same concept but on a larger scale. And it's just where we can, expand on our offering and keep innovating in what we do. We work really well together. We've got the same ideas on everything, and then he trusts me on all the food side of things, and then I trust him on all the marketing and the business side of things. So it works really well.
Lisa knows that the most famous flavours will always dominate her stores, but she's also keen to experiment. The new Laboratorio prioritises small batch flavours made with local ingredients. There will also be some wild flights of fancy.
Because we've got 3 stores, we have a formula of how we make everything, and like strawberry and watermelon and mango and chocolate and all those flavours are always going to be the most popular, and it's hard to just throw on a flavour when you have a small amount of an ingredient, or maybe something's really labour intensive that we can't actually make enough of it. So I loved the test lab because it felt like I just made something and put it on the menu, and it was really fun sort of doing it like that. And now with the lab, we can it's the same sort of concept. Like I can just we can make a flavour and put it straight on the menu. And really, it's about celebrating all amazing fruit growers and different ingredients, and just more limited edition flavours we can put on the menu at the Laboratorio. So we're starting with a white chocolate and pink peppercorn, which is really good. It's sort of the pepper sort of balances out the sweetness of the white chocolate. And then we've got a Maya lemon. So it's quite hard to get your hands on Maya lemons. And we've secured one tree. So it's not going to be on for very long. But yeah, it's just like a sweeter variety of a lemon. You can almost just eat it straight as a fruit. And then what else are we doing? We're doing a goat's yogurt and saffron. We've got an Australian saffron that we're using. And then we're doing buffalo milk, fior di latte, and flavours like that. So all the flavours are new that we've created for the lab, and we'll continue to change the flavours, and we might have just one batch of a flavour, and it will sort of run a bit like that.
Pidapipo Gelato is a seasonal product using only fresh fruit sourced as locally as possible. When the seasons change, the ice cream flavours change too.
We don't use frozen fruits, or we like to support local fruit growers, and we like sort of selecting the fruits and making sure the quality is what we want. And I like to have the variation in the fruits, so it's not always constant, and you will get sort of variations in the taste. And I think that's what keeps it real and what keeps it unique. I love when the seasons change and you get all the different fruits again, because you sort of work with, and then you just can't wait for the next fruits to come out. And especially summer, when strawberries and mangoes and everything come out again, it's always so exciting.
Some flavours never go out of style or out of season. Is your favourite gelato flavour one of the mainstays?
Pistachios, that's our biggest seller. I think we've got 8 flavours that are majority of our sales, which are the classic ones. It's always chocolate, pistachio, hazelnut, butcher, Nutella swirl, salted caramel, and then everything else is so it's just everyone just loves the classics. I feel like now I kind of know what works, and I just work at it until I get it right. But I once tried a cucumber flavour, like in a cream base, which was a really big mistake, and I couldn't. That was just the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. So never got that right, and I don't think I ever will.
There's a fine art and a fair bit of muscle involved in scooping ice cream. What are the tricks Lisa tries to pass on to her staff?
I remember in Italy, it took me a really long time to learn how to do it. I couldn't get it right. And then when I finally sort of learned, but I wasn't amazing at it. And then when I got back to Australia, and I was teaching my team how to do it, for some reason I just got it when I was teaching them. So I think, I don't know, you sort of just work it out, and it's just practice. But it's about sort of working the gelato and getting it into the perfect shape before you put it on the cone. And that takes a lot of practice, and it's been a challenge. Some people get it and some people can't sort of get it. You can tell straight away. I think you need a bit of strength, and you can't be sort of timid in how you do it. You have to really get into it.
Being an ice cream manufacturer sounds like delivering happiness day after day. What does Lisa love about what she does?
I love perfecting and keep improving all the time and learning new things, and just perfecting the one skill is something I'm really passionate about. It is very rewarding when you see people loving what you do. So I feel very lucky that we've had such a good response from people, and I feel like they know the difference. Yeah, when we first opened and people started queuing, like, I just got so excited, and I still feel the same now, and I can't believe it's continued 10 years on, and I feel really lucky, and it's just, it's an amazing feeling.
Pidapipo is many things. It's Lisa Valmormida's entrepreneurial passion. It's a showcase of local produce, and it's a respectful Australian rendering of a grand Italian tradition. More than anything, over 10 years of quality production, it's become an essential ritual for thousands of Melburnians who will happily line up for a Pidapipo cone or cup. Make mine a double with hazelnut and watermelon. This is The Producers, a Deep in the Weeds production. I'm Dani Valent. Stay tuned as we talk to some of Australia's best farmers, makers and growers. Follow us on Instagram at Producers Podcast or contact us via deepintheweeds.com.au.